bad mom because he's not eating. I'm a bad mom because you're doing a good job.
A bad day does not make a bad mom.
Welcome, friends. You are listening to the Mind Your Space podcast.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Queen, and today we have Shanae. Shanae, thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
So before we jump into everything, Shanae, introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everybody. I am Shanae, like Queen said, Shanae Robertson, not Robinson. Um, I am a wife and mother, first and foremost, and I'm just very interested in family life, so I love having these conversations with Queenie. I have a bachelor's degree in marriage and family studies, so it really is my passion, just talking about parenting and marriage and relationships and how to make it work. And I'm just very, very proud of Queenie for creating this space for moms, because as a new mom, believe me, the things that you encounter, like your expectations, just don't match up to reality in a lot of different areas. And so it's good to have these conversations and support each other. So thanks for having me, Queen.
Yes, every time I introduce myself and I tell people, hey, yes, I have a podcast, it's all about motherhood. Some of the older folks, they would say, oh my goodness, this is so nice. I wish I
I've
had
heard
that
that
in
too.
my time. For real, yeah, because I've had a lot of people in Walmart. Sometimes they have conversation and they're just like, I will share this with my granddaughter. I'm gonna share this because I wish I had it in my time. And of course, I ask them questions, and I always ask them, what was your biggest struggle? And there was a lot, but I think back in the days, I guess nobody talked. It was worse back in the days, right? Just imagine you going through all of these, you having multiple kids and going through all of this, and you're alone, you're isolated, and you're experiencing all these things, and you have no idea why you're experiencing these things and why you're feeling these way.
Yeah, the education wasn't
And so
there. Yeah.
it wasn't there at all. And so just being able to have this conversation here, it brings me a lot of joy.
That's
So
good.
that's why I'm gonna continue to bring on moms so that they can share their story, so that everyone can hear and listen in and realize that motherhood is, yes, it's something really precious and it is lovely, but it also comes with a bitterness. It also comes with, it's like, you want the sweet all the time, but I feel like a lot of people want the sweet all the time, but they don't want the bitterness, and you can't have one with it,
Without the
one
other.
without the other. Yes, they go hand in hand. Motherhood is not all sweets.
Yeah.
And so just being able to recognize motherhood comes with that, okay, sourness or bitterness, and accepting it and learning to navigate through it. I think that's the best thing we can do for moms, just to help them to navigate through it and help them to know that they are not alone on this journey.
And I think it's really important too, because, you know, there tends to be this narrative out there that, oh, being a mother, being a parent, even fathers, it you have to sacrifice so much and it's so challenging. And even a podcast like this where we come on and we talk about the real challenges of motherhood, it could deter somebody from
Yes.
wanting to become a mom. But I'm glad that you clarified and you're like, hey, the point of this is to help each other navigate this path. Because it's not to say don't be a mom. It's not to say motherhood isn't a beautiful thing, but it's rough. But here are some things that we can do to experience the sweet while we're experiencing the bitter. Because you can have
Yeah.
both. You can have both.
Yep. Exactly. Because when you're sailing, the waves will come. And it's better you be prepared. And that is all we're trying to do. To
Exactly.
prepare mothers. So when the wave come, you have your life jacket on. And it might look, your life jacket might look differently to everyone. And that's okay. And so Shani, so far, within motherhood, what is the biggest challenge, one of the challenges that you face recently?
All right, since we're doing recently, that's easy. Um, Recently, it's sleep. It's sleep. It's sleep.
It's
Because
leave.
from ever since, it's not like sleep problems are new to me. I've had different phases in my life. For one reason or another, I just can't sleep well. But the thing is, when I don't sleep well, it affects every facet of my life. Like spiritually, I just feel weak. Physically, mentally, I'm just not fully myself. And so recently, our son hasn't been sleeping very well. And so it's like you wake up, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm home with him all day. So I wake up and he wakes up a happy baby. He had a great night. And he wakes up a happy baby and I'm just trying to survive, right? And so for me, the biggest challenge recently has just been feeling really, really tired, really, really exhausted, and feeling like I can't give him my all, even though I would want to. I just can't. I can't give him my all. I'm trying. I'm trying my best, and I'm doing what I can, but it's still a challenge.
Yeah, and like you say, you can't give him your all. And when you say that, what do you mean?
Um, it's simple things. It's for example, being able to just get down on the floor and just play with him. You know, he would love that, but it's like I get down and I play with him for 5-10 minutes, and then it's either okay, let me try and see if I can get something else done, or it's Miles, I just don't have the energy to keep up with you, or the energy to make you laugh, because you know he's a boy and he's at that age and he just loves to play and loves to laugh, and it's like I'm tired. So I try my best, but I still feel like I have more that I want to give. And on those days when I wake up feeling exhausted, sometimes I wake up feeling worse than how I did when I went to bed. It's like I just can't give him um all the energy and the time and the attention that I would love to.
You know, I think probably a lot of moms probably go through the same thing when they feel like that, and sometimes they feel guilty
Yeah.
because you can't.
Queen, your audio gone low again, just a little bit.
See the stupid thing? Yeah,
I hope you put that in there too.
I can't even. Oh my god! You come back?
Yeah, you probably have to just talk louder.
Okay, I probably, and I will try to fix it. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my computer. Claire,
Yeah.
if you're watching this, I need a new computer. I need a new computer. What I was saying, okay, yeah, I was saying a lot of moms go through this, and sometimes this really leads it leads to us feeling guilty
Mhm.
that we can't provide what we think we need to provide for
Mhm.
him or for your child. And I think I just want moms to know that you shouldn't feel guilty.
Mhm.
It's okay. Like I think that's the biggest thing, because when we start thinking, because mentally, like you're done exhausted physically, and then imagine you play 10 minutes with him, pat yourself on the back and say, you know what, instead of looking at, oh, I can't give him this, say, you know what, I give you 10 minutes of my time. I was able to smile, laugh, and play with you for 10 minutes,
Mhm.
and feel good about that, instead of thinking, you know what, oh gosh, I'm feeling so bad that I can't give you
Mhm.
the rest of this or the rest of that. And then you start digging that hole and start creating more anxiety or whatever the case might be. And then you feel more exhausted because mentally you're working. Something is working.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times we are too hard on ourselves as moms. Parents in general. It's okay. I believe Miles, I could call your name, right?
Me accidentally slip out, so I guess.
Okay.
Eh.
Okay. So I guess baby boy, he would continue to have energy for the entire day, Shanae, just like Jay. And if I can put aside 10 minutes in the morning to give him my attention, and then the next 10 minutes sometime down the line, and the next 10 minutes, that is all. I am proud of that.
Mhm.
And I think moms, if you can do that, be proud of that. Stop focusing on all the things that you can't provide or you can't give them, because they have energy for the entire day until they go down. You don't.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so realizing that has helped me a lot. But before that, at one time, I think just recently, the thought came to my mind, I just want to quit. And I, I was like, for a split second, it came to my mind, I just want to quit. And I asked myself, okay, huh? That don't sound like me. Like, why is that? Because it was so much, like you say, the sleepless nights, Jay having so much energy doing the most climbing up here, climbing up there, and I'm pregnant, so I have little energy for myself, and I'm just like, Lord, I had to call up on his name because I just want to quit. And I was like, for a minute, it just sink in. But then I asked myself, um, what do you mean by quitting?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, what would that look like, especially motherhood?
And so for me, I was like, okay. So I sat there and I was thinking, I was like, I think it's just something that I said because I was just exhausted in the moment, just burned out, and that was it. And I was like, okay, what do quitting look like? And I asked moms, if you ever think about quitting, what the heck? You see this trip? Yeah. Shouldn't you see me?
Yes. May I see, I may hear you.
Amazon just pop up on my screen. This computer mad. Sorry. So yeah, and you see, I was like, moms out there, what do quitting look like for you? For me, in that moment, I asked myself, what do I mean by quitting? Like, Queenie, what do you really mean by quitting? And I went down the line, like just point. I was like, is it me running away from my responsibilities as a mom? Just leaving Jay and his father behind and just taking off? And of course not. Like that's like not an option. And I even reached the point, is it me just not existing anymore?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I don't want to take my life. That is not something I want to do. So why even say I feel like quitting? Because quitting might look differently for everyone. But the thought just came. And so I had was to reevaluate myself quickly and bring back myself. Because I'm like, okay, what do I mean by this? And so I had was to cross off everything because I know I don't want to run away. I don't want to take my life. I don't, all these other things. That's not an option. And I just say, Lord, give me the strength. Take a breath, back to it. And so that's why I really wanted to talk to you. Have you ever had that thought, Shani?
Not really. I feel like I've had that moment that I think a lot of new mothers have, where it's like, okay, the expectations the reality of motherhood isn't what you thought it would be, right?
Right.
And so it's like I've had several moments when I'm just sitting there thinking, like, oh my goodness, I've signed up for this for the rest of my life. And you hear stories, you hear older people talk all the time that, yeah, even though my kids are living on their own, they're adults now, I still worry about them. Every stage of parenting comes with its own challenges and its own difficulties. No matter how old your child gets, you'll always be a parent. And so for me, I've had moments where almost like moments of panic when I think to myself, oh my goodness, I will need to do this for the rest of my life. I've never thought of blatantly quitting, just saying, I'm going to abandon the baby or whatever. But before the episode, when I was doing a little Google search, I found something that is very interesting. I think you might be interested in it. So it was saying that sometimes in more of like a work setting, you have employees who do what's known as a soft quitting or a quiet quitting. Yeah. Where it's not like you just say, okay, I quit, here's my letter of resignation, but it's more of you stop. One, you don't feel as motivated to work, and two, you start doing just the bare minimum. What's the bare minimum that I can do to get by? And I think that can be applied to parenting as well. Right. So sometimes we don't quit by taking our lives or abandoning our child, but we quit in the everyday interaction with our children. You just do the bare minimum to get by. Now, I understand that there are bad days where sometimes you just have to do the bare minimum to get by. But if that is you every single day, then I think, okay, that's a sign of quitting. That's a sign of quitting.
Right. And
so I just thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to go off that, like, I think that comes with so much other stuff. that mentally it can be a problem there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, in yourself you give up,
Yeah.
because when you reach that low, anything can trigger you. And you know what I mean? Like, it's you're so much easier to be triggered, to be annoyed, um, and anything is possible within that space. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you see yourself in that space where, in a sense, you give up, you know what I mean, but you're still existing,
Mm-hmm.
then I would recommend seeking help,
Yeah.
just to be on the safe side, because with motherhood comes so much things that sometimes you can't even explain. And so I always recommend to someone, especially if it keep going on for days and weeks, no, I want you to contact a professional and just talk and express and see how you can bring back yourself and navigate through
Mm-hmm.
this, so that you can be the best you can be for yourself. And when you are good for yourself, then you are better able to take care of your baby and your family.
Yeah, I agree. And I
And
think early intervention is important. I don't think you
yes,
should sit around and just say, well, I'll just wait and see. If you're not sure, just go and get help. You know,
yeah,
just go and get
yeah,
help. Because early
exactly.
intervention, I think, can make a world of difference. Rather than you sit down at home for a year, 2 years, just going
Oh
through this.
boy,
And then it's like so much work to get you back to your baseline, feeling normal again. So, yeah, I agree. Get help.
something just now. You said something just now about soft quitting, because I read it just now as
Oh,
well,
you
and I
did?
was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
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 And but I think a lot of the times on this journey, we do it with ourselves.
What do
We
you
do
mean?
so what I mean by this, for example, um, moms, especially, a lot of us prepare. We take birth class, right, Shanae? We Google about birds and about
Mm-hmm.
baby coming, and we excited. We want baby girl or boy,
Mm-hmm.
and we just want to bring them into a loving home, right? And we do all this decoration and stuff like that. We even take some breastfeeding class. We learn, all these things. And I had conversation with people about, hey, what are you doing for postpartum? Some moms right now who currently about to give birth just now, they say, huh?
Uh-huh.
They say, oh, I didn't think about it. Shanae, it brings it like my heart, it hurts, it heavy, because I know what I experienced, and I'm not saying all moms gonna experience it, but the fact that you're not preparing for postpartum is a problem.
Mm-hmm. But they don't know.
and and they
They
don't
don't
know,
know.
and they don't know, but that is my goal. So right now, that is, like, I am, for those of you who don't know, I'm currently pregnant. Shanae is gonna take care of me again.
Period. Listen, no, don't mix me up.
Oh gosh. And that is one of my biggest thing. Like, I could have care less about buying clothes. Trying to fix, yes, I will try to fix up and make it look presentable. But my biggest thing is that first 6 months, or the first year of baby of giving birth. And even though I went through it and I know what I experienced, I am preparing myself for this. And you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
follow me on my social medias, because I'm gonna be sharing tips and tricks on how you can prepare yourself for postpartum, even classes. And so just be mindful, because this is very important. And every mom, I believe every mom should be focused on this, just like how we excited to take a birth class, or take a latching class, or just learn about different things about your baby. I want you to learn about postpartum, and
Mm-hmm.
how it can affect you, and as a result affect your baby, and as a result your basically your household.
Yeah. And I know
Because
this is kinda on the spot, but my question for you is like, what part of postpartum do you wish you were more educated about your first time giving birth? What you
oh,
wish you knew better about?
um there's so much things, Shani. But I think the mental aspect of it, like, I was in a really dark space, and I didn't know how to come out, and I felt like I let myself go down, go down, go down, because I wasn't aware. You ain't really see the slippery slope. We talk about
Yeah.
the slippery slope and you just keep going. That's what happened
Mm-hmm.
to me. And and I know a lot of people probably don't understand. Um, Basically, they have baby blues, and
Yeah.
then what's the difference between
Postpartum
baby
depression.
blues and postpartum depression? So sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
confuse about all these things. So just being educated on this. No, because if I was, then I could have said, "Oh, I'm experiencing this. Let me see what I can do. What resources that are out there for me, or what I can do in my life to bring me out of this." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't know what was going on at the point in time. And so I think the mental part of it was very difficult for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree.
What
For me, it
about?
was the mental part,
Oh, okay.
and I think number two was probably me not understanding the need that there would be for a support system.
Oh,
Because in my
yes.
head, I'm like, okay, maybe for the first little bit, I come
Mm-hmm.
home, I'm healing. It would be nice to have somebody making dinner, tending to the baby, whatnot. But after that, I should be fine. And then you realize, no, our son is almost 14 months old. And you realize that, oh my goodness, like if I had a support system, if I had a grandma, grandpa who live next door, or an auntie who is close by to watch the baby, to give me a hand, this journey I think would be far easier. It would still have its
Mm-hmm.
challenges, but I think it would be far easier. But then when you think about having to just shoulder everything by yourself, and I mean, we made a decision to bring our son here, so I
Yes.
can't complain, right? He's ours, and
No,
he's our primary responsibility. You want to
yes,
stop
but
me?
don't say that. I want to stop you and say I don't like that because you see how you say, and a lot of people, especially on the internet, and this is why moms don't voice what they're feeling, because the
Mm-hmm.
first thing they will somebody might say, well, you decide to bring this child here. I understand that, but do you tell people who get in a car accident you decide to go and drive to work? Nobody said that to someone who get in a car accident. So why are you
Mm-hmm.
saying it to a mom? Oh yes, I bring him here. So yes, I
Mm-hmm.
understand that. But the
Mm-hmm.
point is, it is hard, and nobody determine if you're gonna experience postpartum like if you will experience postpartum depression, like all the struggles that you're gonna face within your
Mm-hmm.
motherhood journey. That wasn't on the list. We didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when someone make a comment like that, I always say, especially a mom, no, don't feel like because I bring him here, I had to bear all of this. Like I have to take all of this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they don't want to voice like what they're feeling because they will be
Yeah.
judged.
You're right. You're right. I understand that. I just want to make it clear that, like, I'm not playing the victim card.
Right.
Because personally, I don't like hearing it. No, personally, I don't like hearing it. And so I
What you don't
don't.
like hearing?
People playing the victim card.
What? Okay. As you experience motherhood right now and go
Uh-huh.
through all of this, you have obviously your perspective change. If a mother talk
Mm-hmm.
about certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is there playing the victim card in motherhood? I
Is
mean,
there playing the victim card?
I'm good. That is not the best English, but you understand what I'm trying to say?
I
Because
think so.
every okay,
I
okay, you
think so.
think
And
so?
here's what I mean. Here's what I mean.
Okay,
When I say playing the victim card, I am referring to when we complain and we whine about things that are quite often within our own control, right?
oh, okay,
So
okay,
when it comes down to something like postpartum depression or whatnot, that's not within your control. Talk about it, get help, whatever.
right,
But when it comes on to just me feeling like, okay, whatever on a typical day that comes up in parenting,
right,
and just like constantly whining and complaining about that, I feel like that is playing the victim card. Because a lot of the times there are things there that are within your control. And in
right.
general, you bringing a child into this world, or at least in our case, that was within our control. We chose to do that.
We chose to do that.
And so
Yes,
I don't want ever talk about my son and give the impression that I am whining and complaining about him being here. But I do
okay,
agree with you. It's important to talk about the struggles and to talk about the issues that comes with parenting and comes with being a mom. So I hope
okay.
that
That makes
clarified
sense.
it. Yeah.
Yes, it cleared. It cleared. And I think and this is where people have different opinions, and this is how, you respect other people opinion of whatever it may be, right? And so I
Mm-hmm.
do, and I felt like that because I would call you up and I might complain about something, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I need to do that for my mental health. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, but not all the time I'll call you and say, oh gosh, your name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's different for every individual and they might deal with situations differently. And so when
Yeah.
you say playing the victim or whining, because at the end of the day, whining about things that is in your control. I don't know, Shanae. For me, it's just
And
like,
you know what? I will say this. I feel like there's a difference between complaining
right.
and, let's say, just having a conversation where you are opening up and seeking help or
Okay.
something like that, right? I feel
Right.
like
Right.
complaining is when you're just talking about your problems with no intention of working on it, no intention of seeking out. You understand what I'm saying? I'm
Okay.
not
No.
doing a
Okay.
great job
Yes. Yes.
explaining
Yes.
this,
No.
but
No. No.
complaining
Good.
is when you just talk about your problems just cause, right? And I feel like that's different from saying, oh, Shanae, today has been such a hard day or whatever, whatever. And we talk about it and we reason through things and we exchange ideas and we create a plan, whatever, however it looks.
Yes.
So to
Yes.
me, that's totally different and that's needed versus just every day, is one problem after another without even trying to change things or improve things.
Okay. Right. And so yes, that makes so much more sense now because I was going to get to that and say, it do have persons like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping if you are like that, then you can see that, hey, this can be like really hard on your relationship because you're always complaining. And
Mm-hmm.
if your spouse or whoever they continue to hear you, it's like, I'm sorry to say, but they're going to get tired
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
And it can lead to greater problems. And so, like you said, Shani, yes, you could complain. No, nobody say you can't complain, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, the reason why I'm all about like don't play the victim card is because I know how much it will affect you, the person. Because
Yes.
if every day you wake up, all you're seeing is this isn't going right, this isn't going right, and you're not doing anything about it, what is that going to do to your mental health? What is that going to do to your outlook on life? What is that going to do to like you said, your relationships? So a big part of me saying don't play the victim card and don't just complain for complaining's sake is because it keeps you stuck. It keeps you
Yes.
stuck. And so if you want to talk about your problems, talk about your problems, but do it with the intention of, okay, I'm going to try and work on this. And I think getting it off my chest is good, but also maybe getting some advice, some direction, getting some support is good and needed.
Yeah, that is so needed. And to be fair, I don't think anybody wants to listen to somebody who just whines only time. Even if it's your friend, they're gonna get tired of it.
Or
Well,
even your
hopefully they tell
spouse.
you, your
Even your
spouse,
spouse who
especially your
loves you,
spouse,
yeah.
you're gonna get tired of it.
Yeah.
And so I have, and the thing is, it is very draining. Like I said, it drains everything out of you, Shanae,
Mm-hmm.
and the person you're whining to, it can actually drain that person as well because it is very frustrating. So
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you're coming to me with something, let's find a solution.
Yeah.
I don't mind listening to it, I will listen to you. But let me see how we could make it better. Let me
Yeah.
see what we can do to improve. Okay, you're having problems here. What if you take this route? Let me look at it differently. You know what I mean? Instead of
Mm-hmm.
looking at the glass half empty, you look at it half full.
Half full.
You know what I mean? Just have a different perspective on life. And I think within motherhood, a lot of us could easily go down that rabbit hole, and because we don't prioritize our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care what nobody mindset. When I say mental health, it's not me saying, oh, you're going. I think a lot of people take it out of context because when I say mental health, I talk about mindset as well. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, I realized that my mindset, because of my mindset, it was affecting me within my like with postpartum, and so I had to retrain my brain about certain things.
Same. Same, same,
Exactly.
same.
So
I
what is
think
something? Yeah.
I think sometimes, sorry to cut you, but I feel like sometimes we don't realize the power that is in thought and in
Mm-hmm.
words. Because quite often the thoughts that we entertain and the things that we say every day becomes our reality.
Yes.
And so if you are feeling like you're in a rut, you're feeling stuck and you want to get out of that, then you have to change the way you think and you have to change the things that come out of your mouth. I feel like that's
Mm-hmm.
where it all starts. And I'm not saying it's something that happens overnight, but just start with one thing. Just say, okay, I realize this pattern, this one single pattern of thought that I have. Maybe it's me constantly telling myself I can't. Because a lot of us,
Mm-hmm.
we constantly tell ourselves, oh, I can't do it. No, probably just choose that one thought and start focusing on it. And you try to be more realistic and you say, well, maybe this one task is hard, but
Mm-hmm.
I think if I do it this way, I think if I approach it this way, then I can accomplish it. So just something
Right.
simple like that, just starting
Yeah.
with our thoughts and starting with the words that come out of our mouths on a daily basis, I think we can slowly change our reality as moms.
We can actually, especially like you say, the thoughts, what we think, what's coming to
Mm-hmm.
our mouth, what we watch on social media as well, like the
Mm-hmm.
things that you listen to, because what you see, what you hear, all these things affect us.
It
And if
affects
you,
you, Queenie.
oh my goodness,
One of the biggest things for me on social media is coming across, mostly on TikTok, coming across um, grief, grief
mm-hmm.
TikToks, where people
Oh,
talk about losing their babies and SIDS and all these different things. And not that these things don't happen, they happen.
mm-hmm.
But because I naturally struggle with anxiety, and I think a lot of parents, after bringing a baby into the world, even if you never had anxiety before, you start feeling very anxious. What if I lose the baby? What if I did da? And just watching these TikToks and entertaining them, it does something to me mentally. And for that day, I find that I'm a lot more anxious and I'm a lot more worried, and all these different things I just take away from the experience or make the experience of being a mom a lot harder. And so you brought up a good point. Even social media or the conversations, the things that we entertain really, really can affect us.
Yeah, and so I want you to, moms, listen, going into, start from today and going into 2024, let's change the way we think. Let's change the way we approach situations. You're having a hard time with your child, they're giving, they're giving you a run for your money.
Amen.
Just know that it won't be like this forever. And in that moment, take a breath. And instead of being negative, instead of being like, I quit, or even like the thought of you quitting, or, yes, this is hard, you can say, this is hard, but, but
But
he's smiling. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Like, look for the small things that will bring joy to you in that moment. Or
mm-hmm,
try to remember something that will bring joy to that. I guess that will bring joy to you in that moment. And those are the things that really help me to cheat, like during postpartum, to help me as I come out of it, and then I realize that okay, I am the author to my story.
mm-hmm,
I am the one writing the story, and I determine the outcome in a sense. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
determine who I become, what kind of mother I become, what kind of wife I become, despite what anybody else say.
mm-hmm,
And I think a lot of us, like especially with social media, we see it and we compare and we do all these different things, and it really affect us mentally. And I think we don't even stop to notice how bad those things that we see and we hear affecting us in our motherhood journey in a bad way.
yeah. But yeah, just piggybacking off what you said, when it comes to feelings of or thoughts of giving up or quitting or whatnot, I think it's important, like you said, to just focus on the things that are within your control, because a
Right.
lot of it isn't. You don't get to decide the kind of baby that you have.
Oh,
What is
lush.
your child's temperament? For some
I know,
reason, both
right?
you and I are blessed with two boys who are just full of energy and want to play and da 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 da. And that's just who they are, and that's not within our control. But what's within
Mm-hmm.
our control is, like you said, the type of mothers that we want to be. And I
Yes.
think it's important. I heard this on a podcast and I want to share it with your listeners. A lady, she said, a bad day does not make a bad mom.
Oh
Okay, so
man.
give yourself a chance to have that bad day without internalizing it and saying that you're a bad mom. Because you're not.
And Exactly, and that's what we're talking about. Because it's like someone make mention earlier, and I was having a conversation, and a lot of moms, I, including myself, at one point, we feel like yes, they say, but the bad day, Shani, and is a reflection on our on us. Like if the kid behave bad, is a reflection of us. He don't want to eat is a reflection of us, and we listen. And moms, I just said you dig a hole for yourself. Like they dig that, they continue to dig that hole, and it really affects them, shouldn't it? Because it's like you cry because it's like I am up, and then you start saying these things because I'm a bad mom because he's not eating. I'm a bad mom because he's not doing this. You know, like what do I need to do again?
Yeah, not realizing that they are their own selves. They're their own human beings, and so
Yes,
yeah, we
they're
just take it as
developing
it
and they're
comes.
learning,
Exactly.
and you didn't listen to your parents. What you expect your child to do?
It's
Oh gosh.
payback. It's karma.
I know, right? I'm like, and that's the next thing. Like, you, you determine, you set the tone, and continue to do it, even though you're not seeing the results you want to see right away. Eventually, it might come.
It will
You know,
come.
like it will come. Just continue being kind, being stern, being firm, and however you decide to parent, that's your business. You know what I mean? As long as you think you're doing something right for your child, don't let anybody else tell you anything. Unless you're not abusive. You know what I mean? Like, you know the things.
Yeah, yeah. The things that are objectively bad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you go and you are doing a good job. Like I always tell moms, listen, you're doing a good job. Because sometimes, Shanae, I just want to hear that. I just need to hear that during the day. Like you are doing a good job.
Yeah.
Pat
And
yourself on
sometimes
your back.
sometimes the mere fact that you are wondering whether or not you're doing a good job, it says everything, right? Because it shows you
Exactly.
care. And if you care, you are doing what your child needs you to do.
When I say is the societal expectations, and you are your own person, and remember your child is their own individual, and they're gonna do things differently from you. But always remember that your voice is valid. Like whatever you have to say is valid, and it's okay to complain as long as you know you're trying to find a solution to help yourself. Remember that it is key to have a positive mindset, and not all, I shouldn't say, where is it, not the bad, where you say it at the end, the bad days, and
Oh, a bad day
I
doesn't make a
shouldn't,
bad mom.
I shouldn't said.
A bad day doesn't make a bad mom.
Always remember that. And on that note, thank you all for tuning in. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next episode.
Bye bye.